Good morning, True Church. I'm Pastor Art, and I have been communicating a lot with many of you through video and through texting and through, I feel like most of our relational lives has moved because of our time of now being indoors, staying at home for the most part, that most of our communication is actually through phone or through text or through some type of Zoom meetings and things like this. Maybe you're feeling that. I'm interested that sometimes in our texting, at least, texting has a condensed way of kind of boil things down to a kind of a core to communicate things. So we have our own texting lingo, right? LOL, laugh out loud. We've seen that before. There's a bunch of different types of letters that are brought together. And even words that we used to spell, like thanks, for instance, I can't spell that without an X now. I just do, even in my normal grammar. My grammar has gotten worse as my texting has gone up. Maybe that's happened for you, right? And I think the idea of texting is that we condense things down to communicate an idea. Well, Paul is trying to make sure that we have this idea that whatever happens, you conduct yourself in a manner worthy of the gospel. That's Philippians 1:27. And then he goes on and he keeps talking about whatever happens. And he talked about in our circumstances, whatever happens, conduct yourself in a manner worthy of the gospel. And then he says, whatever happens in our lives, make sure we stay as one. We're one. Why are we one? He says it in a couple of verses at the very end of chapter 1. He talks about being in one spirit, of one spirit, and even contending, as I spoke yesterday about that, contending for the faith of the gospel. But then he goes on and saying, if you have in chapter 2, he says, if any of you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any fellowship with the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, being one in spirit and purpose, having the same love. He says these things, this idea, he comes back to the unity idea, again, that whatever happens, stay together, to be one. Why? Because we're one already by Jesus. There's this bond he keeps talking about. If you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from that love, if any fellowship with the Holy Spirit, because it's not just the Spirit, but it's also our fellowship and connection together is through the Holy Spirit, if any tenderness or affections and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and purpose. See, he keeps bringing us back to the thing. He's saying that you are one by one to be one. One by one to be one. Or one for one to be one. I'm thinking of our text lingo. I wonder if today, if even if you texted yourself or text a friend that simply has this, the number 1, 4, 1, 2, the letter B, and 1. 1, 4, 1, 2, B, 1. 1, W-O-N. 4, 1. The one who, Christ, who loves us, who saved us. 2, B, 1. There's an idea that even if it's an individual coming to faith, that we are not meant to go through especially hardship alone. We need to do it together. Paul was animate about that from a prison cell, being maybe like you're feeling confined at this point, and he is reminding us that whatever happens, you conduct yourself in a manner worthy of the gospel because you are one for one to be one. Many of you have my cell phone. I want you to text me that tomorrow, okay? Or this day, sorry. To text that to me today. 1 for 1 to be 1. And I will know that you today are thinking through what this means as we are one by Christ to be one people and how that might work itself out today in your life. We're not alone. The Holy Spirit's with us. You are not alone. You have people that are followers of Jesus with you. And so I pray as you leave this place with grace and peace that you would have a deep encouragement knowing that you're united with Christ and we're united together because of that. 1 for 1 to be 1. Bye for now.